Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Hoodwinked. Now, Hoodwinked, what does that mean? Why would you name it Hoodwinked? Well, I'll tell you. So the definition of hoodwinked is to be misled or misguided about something. And I feel like many people today are misled about insurance, especially home and auto insurance. You listen to your neighbor's telling you, hey man, this is covered. You gotta make sure you file this claim. You gotta do it this way. You gotta make sure you don't get this coverage. You can save money, all this stuff. Don't listen to your neighbor. Contact your local independent insurance agent, and they should be able to steer you on the right path to find a great coverage at a great rate. So we're gonna jump right in here. Our first topic of Hoodwinked, first episode, is going to be about water coverage. Now, water coverage is the second most common claim I see when I'm running a claims history report. Obviously, in North Texas, the Metroplex, we're going to see a lot of wind and hail claims. It's just the nature of the beast living in North Texas. You get tornadoes, you get hail, a lot of wind, everything like that. So that's going to be the most common claim you see. And the second most common claim, like I said, water. Now, what is water? What does insurance define water coverage or water losses as? And this, I have a site here. This is Stewart.com. This was posted by Tom Carpenter on September 14th of 2016. Went through it, still very accurate today for what home insurance typically covers on water. Of course, these are optional coverages that you have to add on to your policy. They're going to be an additional charge, well worth the extra money to invest in water coverage. So jumping right in, number one, they have listed as sudden and accidental water coverage. Now keep in mind, each insurance company will define it differently. Some may say, many different things. Mine, actually, I have right here in front of me. I have, let me tell you real quick. Okay. On this page, here we go. I have water backup and sump discharge or overflow coverage. I have limited water, hidden water, and steam seepage or leakage coverage. And then I also have foundation coverage. So we're jumping in right here to number one. This is what they call sudden and accidental water coverage. And sudden and accidental water damage describes a situation similar to a burst pipe, an appliance malfunction, or any unexpected release of water or steam. Unexpected is a key word there. And let's see, for coverage to kick in, the two main components that need to be clear in the cause of damage are sudden, not over a period of time, and accidental or unexpected, in other words. Number two is seepage and leakage coverage. Seepage and leakage means continuous and repeated over time. Check your policy for specific timelines. Sometimes known as slow leak coverage. This damage generally occurs within plumbing systems, resulting in a slow leak from a pipe inside the wall, shower pan, AC pan, or even a leak in the roof. These types of situations often go undetected until the damage is so extensive that it becomes apparent through a collapsed ceiling or a severely damaged wall. Also, it could be through hardwood floors. Those are the ones that happen over time, the ones that you don't know about until it's too late. There is coverage for that. Let's see, number three, water backup and overflow coverage. So just like it sounds, backup from a toilet, a sink, or even rainwater. You have a hole in the roof, rainwater's coming up, hits a tub, hits a bathtub, and overflows, those sort of things. And then last is foundation water damage coverage. Says finally, the fourth and final water damage coverage you can include on your home policy is foundation water coverage. This coverage is extended when the foundation is damaged from one of the three water damages or from the repairs in response to water damage. So those are the ones that come up through the foundation. Some don't even call it foundation water; they just call it foundation coverage, like on my policy. So, but jumping right into that, you'll notice that there were four, not five. Some of you may be thinking, "Where's flood? Where's flood? Where? My neighbor told me it was on there." Your neighbor's wrong. Flood is not covered on a homeowner's policy in Texas, to my knowledge, from what I've seen with the companies I have. I haven't seen it in any policy in Texas where flood is covered. Now you can purchase a separate flood policy. If you're in a floodplain, typically you'll know, and they'll require it for your mortgage for you to purchase flood insurance, which is a separate policy, obviously, than your home. But it may be a good idea also if you live back up to a creek to purchase flood insurance. I actually, the last house I lived in Mansfield, we backed up to a creek and we were not necessarily in a floodplain. So we were not required to purchase flood insurance, but it still may be a good idea to purchase flood insurance. It can be pretty inexpensive to purchase flood insurance just in case something happens. Because if a flood does come, it's going to destroy everything in your house. So it might be a good idea to purchase flood insurance. So that is one of the most common misconceptions with water coverage, is that flood is covered, and it is not, unfortunately. So, but you can save your time, your effort, your money by purchasing a flood policy. The second thing we're going to talk about that's a misconception is coverage C, which is your contents coverage, and how it pertains to water coverage, how that balances out. So typically water coverage, its limits on most policies that I've seen, you can go up to 100%, you can go to $50,000 in coverage, you can go to $25,000, you go to 20. There are, however, some companies who will only go up to $10,000 in water damage coverage, which is pretty low because we have a great relationship with Safeco Insurance Company, for example, and we talked to one of their claims adjusters and just said, hey, we're looking to serve our clients better, get them better coverage, make sure they're covered in case of water leaks, all the four that were listed here: the water seepage and leakage, the sudden accidental water damage, the water backup and overflow, and foundation water damage. Looking to protect them in that area. Because we see it a lot. It's our second most common claim we see. So how can we better do that, basically? And so we asked the claims adjuster, what is the average amount paid out on a water claim? He said, well, every claim's different, so I can't really. We're just like, man, just give us a number. We just want to know a number just so we can help better serve our clients. He said, okay, I'd probably say, I believe he said maybe 20,000. And the average we see is 15 to 20,000 in water damage claims paid out. That's unbelievable, especially for so many policies I see that have 5,000, that have 10,000 in water coverage. You're going to pay $5,000 out of pocket or $10,000 out of pocket. Or if you don't have the coverage at all, you could pay $15,000 to $20,000 out of pocket. It is insane not to purchase water coverage. You can get it, I think $20,000 is what we write in our agency. We write a minimum of $20,000 on water coverage. And that's just what we quote at. We could go more if the insured would like to. But that's what we quote at, is $20,000. And each company is different, as I said, so the limits are different. But typically we do $20,000 at least in water coverage. And it's maybe $100, $200 a year to add that on there. So you're talking $10 to $20 a month to add water coverage. It would be ludicrous for you not to do so. But anyways, back to my point about coverage C and the water coverage limits. So just want to talk about the water coverage limits so you can understand the next misconception. So many people think, okay, I'll just take my home insurance policy, for example. I have, on coverage C, I have $184,000 for my contents. So that's my clothes, that's my TVs, that's my furniture, all the little knickknacks. All those things that my wife gets at Target. Those are all covered under coverage C. So, I have $184,000 in coverage C and coverage for contents. Many people think, okay, I have a water claim. It destroyed my $5,000 sectional. It destroyed my $1,000 chair. It destroyed my priceless lazy boy. which is priceless. I know. I love them. My wife won't let me have one, unfortunately. She says they're too ugly. But anyways, back to my point. It destroys water coverage, or water damage destroys all those things. Many people think, oh, I'm good. I have $184,000 in contents coverage. That may be true, but the water coverage is a whole different sphere than the contents coverage. So your water coverage, your $5,000 in water coverage, that's not just going to fix your floors. That's not just for your floors. That's for your contents as well. It includes the contents in that limit. So if you have $5,000, I know you're doing the math in your head right now. If you have $5,000 on water and you destroy your $3,000 sectional, your $1,000 chairs, your phone was on the ground, all these things, they start to add up. And then on top of that, you're gonna have to replace your carpet floors, your hardwood floors, even if it's tile or laminate, it still adds up. Especially when you include those contents in there. So you're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars, and you can see how quickly that can add up to be $15,000, $20,000 in water damage claims. So you're talking $5,000, you're gonna have to pay a lot out of pocket to fix your damages there. So that's what many people do not understand, is that coverage C, your contents coverage, does not apply to water damage. That's why water damage is its own separate thing. Water coverage limits. So I have my limits personally set at $20,000, just because I want to make sure I have adequate protection if a leak comes through and destroys my couch and maybe even my TV and the TV stand and all that stuff. I want to make sure that I am fully protected when it comes to water coverage. So those are the main debunks for the day. We're talking flood. Remember, flood, you have to purchase a separate flood policy in order to get flood coverage. And then we're talking contents, coverage C. Remember that your coverage C does not apply to water damage. That is its own separate limit on water coverage. So remember, the average water claim is $15,000 to $20,000 in claims paid out. And like I said, second most common claim I see on, and you're going to see it, newer homes, older homes, doesn't matter. You're going to see it. I know many of you probably faced that during the winter apocalypse storm that we had. It's unbelievable that people would not purchase water coverage. So do yourself a favor, purchase water coverage, contact your independent insurance agent today, and add on that water coverage. You'll be glad you did. It's 10, 20, maybe even $30 a month to add that on there, but it's well worth it in the end when and if something does happen. So that is the first episode of Hoodwinked. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Please let me know if you have any questions. Comment below comment some of your misconceptions or things that you think you know about insurance, or maybe you want to clarify, and let's talk about it. And I'll do my due diligence and try to find an answer for you. So that's the first episode of Hoodwinked. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all learned something. Thank you.